Hey everyone, Jack here, TalkNorwichCity. Welcome back to another video. It's Sunday, reflecting on Norwich City's 2-0 win against Huddersfield Town. A nice little Christmas present for us all. It's always nice, isn't it, going into a festive period off the back of some good form and off the back of a win. That's exactly what we got served up at Carrow Road on Saturday. Goals from Sam McCallum and Borja Sainz in a game where we could have quite easily scored more. We dominated from start to finish. Huddersfield, down towards the bottom of the table and for a reason. But we still needed to get a job done, and that's exactly what we did. I'm going to start from back to front in terms of the pitch because so many players impressed me yesterday. I want to start with Kenny McLean, who has come into this team as a centre-back, and I think a lot of eyebrows were raised when Wagner first made that decision. And we were all going, blimey, Wagner has now fully lost the plot. Kenny McLean dropped in. We had other centre-backs. We had Danny Bart. We had Jaden Warner. Everyone was like, why are we not playing those guys? And you can start to see why now. The form since McLean come in as centre-back. So he started his first game at centre-back against Bristol City. We won that. We then drew 0-0 with Preston. We beat Sheffield Wednesday 3-1. We drew with Ipswich 2-2. And a 2-0 win against Huddersfield. So a couple of clean sheets, a couple of good wins in there, a point in the East Anglian derby. McLean has been superb. And I think so much of our domination yesterday in regards to possession and keeping the ball all stemmed from Kenny McLean. I also think Shane Duffy looks far better with him next to him. We know that Duffy maybe doesn't have the technical ability when it comes to picking a pass and playing out from the back. But if Duffy has McLean next to him who has that ability, I think he can concentrate on what he's good at. Aerial duels. Again, some really crucial blocks, some really full-blooded blocks against Huddersfield. And I thought Duffy was really good there. Dimianulis came back into the side after being out for the Ipswich game. Sam McCallum was on the bench. Yanulis then went off. I think he got a bloody nose after a bit of an elbow to the face. Wasn't a particularly poor half from Dimianulis. It was steady. Didn't do a lot wrong. Didn't do a lot right. McCallum came in after a really promising second half performance against Ipswich, and I thought looked brilliant. Got his goal, his first ever goal for Norwich City. It was a lovely header across the goalkeeper. And defensively was really good. The thing I love about Sam McCallum's last couple of performances is his reading of the game. After initially struggling, I think in that first kind of 30 minutes against Wes Burns against Ipswich, from that point on, including the game against Huddersfield, his reading of the game has been absolutely superb. Once again, moving forwards, I thought Gabby Sarah was electric. And if we can potentially utilise him further up the pitch when we've got a few players coming back from injury, I think we're onto something really special. That combination between him and Nunes is really starting to look good. It's the way that he just controls the game, and the game almost runs around him. If he wants it to go quick, it will speed up. If he wants to slow it down, he's got the ability to do that, and I think that's so vital, particularly when you're maybe not so much in control of a game and you need to switch up the way it's being played. Sarah's got the ability to do that. Nunes has been an interesting one because I think there's so much potential in there, but I don't really feel like we've seen too much of it yet. We've seen snippets, but him in a slightly deeper role, almost just sweeping it up, just mopping things up, picking a pass, doing the simple stuff well. He's almost been our defensive midfielder in a strange way, and almost comes into a centre-back role when Kenny McLean comes forward. So I've liked what I've seen from Nunes. There was a slight tweak in terms of the front four. Barnes kept his place up front, but instead of Ida, we brought in Hernandez that went out wide, and Borja Sainz came through the middle. Look, Sainz is brilliant, and we'll talk about him later on. Hernandez, again, just left me wanting a little bit more. And I was saying to the lads around me at the game, like, Hernandez, when he used to get one-on-one with a player, he didn't always beat the man, but 95% of the time he would at least try and take that man on, and because of his pace, would often win those battles. It's always been his kind of crossing success rate that's let him down. But I wasn't even seeing him take on a player. I'm not sure if that's a confidence thing. I'm not sure if he's lost a yard of pace. But so often he was either relying on Stacey on the overlap or then coming back into Stacey. And Hernandez got switched up on the 66th minute. And I think when Ida came on and that front four was much the same as it was against Ipswich, we looked far more dynamic. So Hernandez has work to do if he wants to retain his starting place. I think at the moment the options we've got are probably better without him. Johnny Rowe, once again, absolutely superb. Just has that real quality and an ability to change a game that so few in the Championship do. I thought Barnes led the line fairly well. Sainz was excellent. It was a really well taken goal from Sainz, and just again has that ability to come up with a moment. There's been a lot of games this season that Sainz hasn't featured in, towards the start, whether it be selection or injury, that he hasn't played, that you just go, we probably could have got more from that game. Even yesterday's goal, it wasn't a screamer, but it's a difficult finish, and he just makes it look so easy. And the willingness to get forwards off that counter attack, I thought it was absolutely excellent. Substitutions as well. I thought this was the real takeaway for me against Huddersfield. We've got a few players returning from injury. Of course, the big news was Josh Sargent will be returning probably after the New Year, but he will be back in training on Christmas Day. Hwang has returned. Gibson came on. Suddenly, you're looking at the bench and going, he got options. To be able to bring Hwang and Ida off the bench is a bit of a luxury in this division. And I thought they did really well when they came on. Ida in particular, almost playing a slightly wider role, delivered the cross for the goal for Sainz. Hwang, I thought, looked really lively, and actually I've been impressed with Hwang over the past month. I know he's been injured for a couple of those weeks, but he's sharp. He puts himself about. I think he's up to match fitness now. He's got a devilish shot on him. So that was really pleasing. And it leaves us just 2 points off the playoffs. Now, I think the real test is coming up. If you look at our last, probably putting Ipswich aside, if you look at our last 5 fixtures, Bristol City, Preston, Sheffield Wednesday, Ipswich, Huddersfield, you would be expecting to win the games that we won. You would have hoped to have beaten Preston. The win away to Bristol City was really impressive. So a decent points total from those 5 games. 3 wins, 2 draws, unbeaten in 5. I think it's just 1 defeat in the last 8, and that came in a game where we were 2-0 up. Norwich is still scoring goals, and thankfully we're tightening up at the back. These next 3 look really, really interesting. West Brom away, if we beat them, we go above them. Millwall away, you would hope to beat them, but as the cliche goes, it's never an easy place to go. And then Southampton at home. I think this is the test. This is where we find out if we have the minerals to really get into the playoffs, because the pessimists amongst us at the moment will be saying, well, we've beaten the teams below us. We've struggled against the teams above us. It feels very much like that Dean Smith season, or when Wagner came in at the halfway point, where we were constantly just 2, 3, 4, 5 points outside of the playoffs, and they kept luring you in and they kept giving you hope, but actually we lacked enough quality to really make a push into the playoffs. Let's say we win 2 of our next 3. You keep pace. You may have beaten a West Brom. You may have got something against a Southampton. That's the point then, I think, when you go, okay, we can mix it with the bigger boys in this league. And then I think David Wagner, we need to have a serious conversation about that. I kept getting asked the question yesterday, have you changed your mind on David Wagner? No, I haven't as of yet, because I think that there's still more to get out of this side. And I still think the performances aren't quite what they could be. But with Sargent coming back in the fold soon, he's got a few more players to pick for. If we can see a gradual improvement with performances, then we do need to have a conversation over whether Wagner's the right man to take us forwards, and he may well be. But I do need to see those performance levels, improve. As so many people said, it's very easy to get up for a derby match. It's how we then sustain it. I thought we were good for probably 45, 50 minutes in the Huddersfield game. I thought the first 30 was a bit lackluster. To be fair, Huddersfield were incredibly deep, and I don't think we're at our best when we're trying to break down a low block. But we did get it done, and credit to the lads. I thought there were some really exciting performances. I thought the substitutions were good, and Norwich march on. It's a busy festive period, as West Brom on Boxing Day, Millwall on the 29th, Southampton on New Year's Day, and then you've got a cup game in between that, and then Hull away from home, again another side up there in the playoffs. So yeah, a trickier period coming up, but in terms of getting a job done over the past, well, since the start of November, really, we've done that. And I think, we were really at crisis point post Blackburn defeat at home on the 5th of November on the telly. And since then, our points haul has been fairly impressive. So all I can say is a big well done to those involved for turning this ship around so far. Still a lot of work to be done. Still far tougher tests lay ahead. Thank you very much for watching. We got a video coming out on Christmas Day to be previewing the West Brom game. So if you're stuffed full of turkey and want a little break from everything, we will have content going up on Christmas Day. And a big Merry Christmas to all of you. It's been a wonderful year. Maybe not so much for Norwich City, but for TNC. And I hope you've enjoyed all of our content over the last year in 2023. Have a very Merry Christmas. Drink lots of Lakens, of course, responsibly. Spend time with your loved ones, and I hope it all goes incredibly smoothly. I will see you again tomorrow, but Norwich City have beaten Huddersfield by 2-0, and they're just 2 points off the playoffs. Bye-bye.